Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today is the day 53 for our PCNSI series. Now in this particular video we are going to understand about active failover. In my previous video I have talked about the failover which is active passive. So if you have not watched that video, I would recommend you to go and watch it. I will link it into I button because it's a very much dependent on that. You will understand the concept behind failover. Okay, so I'll be linking all the videos which is recommended for this. You can watch and you can come to this video. Okay, now let's understand in this particular video we are going to do so, which is active failover, why we are going to need this and what is the requirement for it, how it works and how it handles the traffic. This is very important to understand the concept of active firewall, which is very much needed. And most of the organization, I'm not telling you every organization, but most of the time they are going to adopt active scenarios. It requires a very complex design and it requires for a certain networks to be configured in that specific condition. Then only the active failover will be working, or you can make a use of it as well. And this is very much important to understand because this will be there in your real world as well as interview. So I would recommend you to watch till the end. And also I'll request you to please subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that you never miss any video from me. So without any further delay, let's get started. So friends, let's understand what is active failover. With the help of this particular diagram, we'll try to understand it. Okay. Now in my previous video, I have told you that there will be one active device, there will be one passive device. Okay. Now the active device will be actively processing the traffic. Okay. And the configuration replication will be happening. The session replication will be happening, right? And in case if this goes down for some reasons, the return traffic or the existing traffic will be taken care by the passive when it becomes an active device, because the session exists here as well. So I have given you or showed you the testing results as well. So this is how exactly this basically happens in this. But in case of active scenario, not only the firewall 1 and the firewall 2 both will be doing the load sharing. So when a traffic comes here, he will also be processing and he'll be also be processing the traffic. So we will be taking, or both the firewalls will be taking the responsibility of the traffic and processing the traffic towards internet or any other zones. So in active passive, what happens is only the active is working and passive is listening. But in active, both the devices will be processing or actively sending or processing the traffic basically, right? So this is the concept behind active failover. So friends, let's understand why we need it and what is the requirement to become active failover, right? Now let's say for an example, as I said, there will be an active device here and there will be another active device. Both the device will be processing the traffic. We are going to see how that particularly the traffic will be getting processed in this. But the thing what I'm trying to explain is the device 1 and device 2 will be processing, not like active passive. The active will be processing, the passive will be listening. Okay, so what is the need of it? Let's try to understand. Let's say I have bought two 7K models, like 7,000 models. Okay, and I am basically configured this device in active and this device in passive. The first thing, whatever the license that I have expended or basically putted money on this particularly because this is data center scenarios or data center firewalls. So this particularly will be sitting idle, not doing anything. Now, if we basically put both the devices in the working condition, what happens is the load sharing will be happening, first thing. And the second thing, that we will be using the both the resources at the same time. So our traffic processing will be more efficient. That is the need of active failover. Okay, now let's try to understand what is the requirement here, right? The requirement is the device has to be having a same model. So if you are getting a 7K here and if you are getting 5K here, this will not happen. It has to be 7000 series as well, right? It has to be same pan OS. Okay, so if you are running 11.1.25, it has to be 11.25 as well. And same multi virtual system capability. Okay, now if you have created two VCs over here, you have to create two VCs here as well. If you are having different VCs, it will not happen. So what is VCs? VCs is basically virtual system. So I can virtually divide this physical devices into two firewalls. So this will be two, this will be two as well. Okay, virtually, not physically. And the same interface type interface as well. Okay, so whatever the interface that you are going to configure here, like let's say you have configured HA1 backup and HA2, and in this particularly if you configure HA1 backup, HA2 and HA2 backup. So here the interfaces are not matching, so they will not become failover members. So this is not possible. So interface type has to be same as well. Okay, so this is the requirement and this has to be there, then only they will become a failover members. So friends, now we'll understand how it works and how it handles the traffic. There are multiple ways and there are multiple types which is available in that conditions how active forwards the traffic. But in this particular video, I'll be generalizing and giving you a very simple example. In upcoming video, I'll be giving you with a condition based in this particular condition or that condition, how exactly active failover processes the traffic, right? So to make it very simple, let's understand how the traffic flow will be. Okay, now let's understand this is the internal network where the PCs are sitting. So the traffic will be moving. Now there will be one session, or basically there will be one device which is actually known as the active device. Okay, if you think from the PC perspective, we can have only one gateway. We cannot have gateway 1 and gateway 2. It is not possible, right? So we will be having only one gateway. So just think about that this particular Palo Alto firewall or this particular Palo Alto firewall has the active IP address. Okay, so always the traffic will be moving towards that active device. Okay, now if he thinks that he will be processing the traffic, he'll process the traffic and sends towards uplink devices. Or if he thinks that no, I am not going to take this responsibility, through HA3 he'll be sending the traffic to another device and he'll be processing and he'll be sending the traffic towards destination. And when the reply comes, it comes to him and then he sends back, and then the traffic will be going towards the PC. Okay. As we know, the HA1 will be taking care of that polling of the devices and the configuration replication. HA2 is for session replication and HA3 for your communication, the session communication or the connection communication, I can say. So whenever a connection comes to active firewall, it basically sends to the other firewall, other active firewall through HA3 link. We are going to talk about in a detailed way in upcoming video how this L3 and in what condition, why it sends, what is the reason. We are going to understand who is session owner, who is active device, what is floating IP, what is ARP load balancing. All of this we will be talking about in upcoming video. Okay, so this is just a simple video to get introduced to active scenario, why we need it, what it is, how it handles, how the traffic flow, we have understood about it. Okay, so this is what I wanted to cover in this video. Thank you so much for watching till the end. If you have any questions, you can comment down or you can reach out to me in all the social media handles wherever you want to. It's there in the about section, and I will see you in the next. Thank you.